Welcome back to the Coliseum in Los Angeles. I'm Charlie Jones along with Merlin Olsen. A very strange, almost disjointed first half.
Charlie, Halloween on Friday night, but the hangover is still here. Patrick Boland, the owner of the Broncos, was out in the hallway here a moment ago, and he said, I'm going to go down to the dressing room and see if those are really my guys down there. And I'm sure that Tom Flores is feeling the same thing. The Raiders have actually squandered many more opportunities in this first half. They had 4 chances deep in Denver territory. First time, Marcus fumbled the ball, and the Broncos recovered it. Second time, they were intercepted by Mike Harden. Third time, Dennis Smith intercepted them in the end zone, and then another fumble on a snap by Mark Wilson. So there have been 4 different opportunities for the Raiders that they batted away, and then that bizarre batted ball earlier on, too, Charlie. So that was another one that could have been.
And the statistics point it all out.
They certainly do. Time of possession at the bottom, and of course we talked about the turnovers. 4 turnovers by the Raiders, and this comes after the Broncos have been shut out in the turnover department for 2 weeks. The yardage, as you would expect, not many chances for Denver to make yardage, and we've said it before, the best way to control Denver's offense is to keep them on the sideline, to keep Elway out of the game. And yet he's 4 out of 5 in passing. I mean, statistics lie.
They do. They do.
Just a reminder, Charlie. Well, we'll save it.
And the kickoff is, oh, did he go out? No. Oh, ever so close. Gene Lang just tippy-toed right to the goal line.
See how close his toes came to that goal line. Watch it now. If he touches that goal line,
that's the brace.
Just barely. The ball can't go out either. So he can't take it out. I guess really it's the ball that controls it. He can't put that ball out over the line, but it was dreadfully close.
You go back to the plane of the goal line from the other side that we talked about so many times. All right, Denver from their own 20-yard line, first down, leading in the ball game 7-3. And that might be bad news. The play action fake, Elway throws, the pass is complete. Clarence Kay, the tight end. And the Broncos open up, moving to the 44-yard line. 24 yards on the play. Reggie McKenzie with the tackle.
Charlie, you said it might be bad news for one reason. In the last 6 games, the team that led at halftime between the matchup between the Raiders and the Broncos has ended up losing the ball game. Well, they've got a lot of work cut out for them on the field, and at least Denver's offense starts out with a positive note. Good play.
And that's the strangest statistic as we have in this ball game. And here's Sammy Winder to the 47-yard line. He picks up 3. And it is second down and 7. Jerry Robinson makes the tackle. Marcus Allen has an ice pack on his cheekbone.
Well, he may just be cooling down there. We mentioned the heat. Temperature still right up around 83, 84 degrees, and hotter on the field.
Inside handoff to Winder. 4 more yards to the Los Angeles 49.
Giving you a chance to look in on the individual war taking place between Lester Hayes and, in this case, Vance Johnson. Watch the contact here. A little swat to the side of the head, and Johnson having to kind of restrain himself. Now, that'll give Lester a foul because you're not allowed to go to the man's head, and you're not allowed to contact the receiver 5 yards downfield. But he got away with it that time.
Third down and 3. Of course, that being a running play, the officials will overlook it, and we had some movement in that offensive line of Denver.
Yeah, we said sloppy.
And we've got some fisticuffs going on at the 50-yard line. And now a little jawing going on. That's Greg Townsend of the Raiders. And I believe that was Orson Mobley, the rookie, that he was...
There's the jump. Winford Hood, number 78. We mentioned that he's in there for Keith Bishop, who's out with a knee injury, and ticketed there. The verbal activities on the line of scrimmage, typical for these two teams. They talk a lot to each other.
When you played, did you talk a lot?
No, Charlie, I didn't talk. I figured that was one sure way to lose a lot of energy. I saved it for the play.
Jets leading, San Diego still leading, and now Minnesota in front of Washington by 1 in that seesaw battle. 3rd down and 8 here. The Broncos out in front, 7-3. And we're 2.5 minutes into the second half. And Elway goes deep, has a man, and the pass is complete to the 20-yard line. It is Vance Johnson. And now it goes out of bounds at the 22.
Well, it's not going to help. They've got Ken Lanier for holding on Drake Townsend.
It would have been 32 yards, but you're right.
Let's look at the play anyway. It's a shame when you lose one this artistic, and believe me, Denver hasn't had many artistic plays to look at today. There is Johnson streaking down the near sideline. A good job. Stephon Adams, the man who tried to stay with him, he goes about 17 times around and finally out of bounds. But great concentration. That is so hard to whip back and catch the ball. Let's look at Lester Hayes now. You've seen Lester hammering a little bit. There he is in his back pedal, and then breaks out of the back pedal, staying with Mark Jackson, and then looking back to the ball. But he's a long ways away from the action.
And the 10-yard penalty against Denver. It'll be 3rd down and 18. The Raiders, you notice, have been penalized only twice for 20 yards. Since that melee in Kansas City, they have really cut their penalties down.
Well, they certainly have. Question of whether they're playing more conservatively or what.
Or what? Elway throwing back on the delayed screen to Wilhite, and he dives to the 45-yard line. He has 9, but it'll be 4th down and 9. And now the excitement of Chris Norman, who will come in to kick. A
lot of pressure. And after all of the problems that Denver's had with their kicking game, Dan Reeves said, I think I've gotten a letter or a call from everybody who ever kicked in high school or college. He said, please, no more letters. I've had enough help and advice on this.
And Keith Bishop is the snapper. Now, he's not playing because of that knee problem, but he is in for the long snap. And once again, the Raiders show as if they're going to put a 10-man rush on the punter.
Well, they put heat on him every time he's kicked so far, and he has yet to really root one.
Oh! They come high snap, but he gets a pretty good kick away. And a fair catch is called for at the 23-yard line by Fulton Walker. So that time, Chris Norman, under pressure, certainly came through. Timeout. We'll be back.
By New York Life, to help you get the most out of life. And by Manville, 21,000 people with one goal, to be America's very best supplier.
This is Charlie Jones along with Merlin Olsen and Keith Bishop. He was talking with the officials.
Well, I don't think he was able to. He's had some problems snapping. I will talk about it when we get a chance here in a minute.
Raiders 1st down from their own 23-yard line. Hester showing motion, and here's Marcus Allen. 28, maybe the 29-yard line.
Charlie, 2 weeks ago against the Jets, Keith Bishop had his larynx smashed a little bit, actually split open. And they had to put a special pad on his neck to protect it. Actually, his shoulder pads jammed up into his throat. They also extended his face mask. Both of those things make it difficult when he drops his head to center to get that ball in there. That may be one of the reasons. On top of that, of course, he's playing with a bad knee. So that last snap could have been a disaster, saved by Chris Norman.
2nd and 4. Flag is down. Marcus Allen again. Now this time just a couple of yards, and he came up limping after that last play. Let's see if he comes up limping again. No, it's not that noticeable. It'll be holding against the Raiders and motion against the Raiders.
Well, after all of the good conversation in the locker room, both teams have come back out to renew their performance. And if you look down on the field and consider the kind of play we've had from in particular, these two offensive teams today, and tell me that these are the teams that are leading in probably the toughest, or at least as tough a division as there is in the NFL, you got to say, come on, you're kidding me.
Can you get too high, too emotionally up for this kind of a ball game?
I think it's possible, Charlie. That may be one of the things that's happened.
Number 32 offense, penalty declined. Holding number 73 offense. That penalty will be accepted.
That's from Charlie Hanna. The penalty is accepted on the holding. So we go back to the 19. It's going to be 2nd down and 14. 10.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And here's Marcus Allen again. And he's pulling Andre Townsend.
Broncos will do a lot of slanting and shifting, and they like to free up Carl Mecklenburg, number 77, on the outside of your picture there. Watch him as he steps in, takes on the blocker, and then reacts to the inside to help Greg Cragen, or Andre Townsend, actually, number 61, make that tackle. Good move. Mecklenburg has to control to the outside and then come back inside to help Phil.
Now, they played Mecklenburg all over that defensive line. Inside, outside, up and down as also as a linebacker. Does the opposing quarterback look for him when he comes out on that set?
Better.
Good protection. And the pass is complete for the first down to Dokie Williams. 18 yards. And the first down.
Second fine catch of the day by Dokie Williams. He dove for one on the sideline earlier, and this ball thrown slightly behind Dokie, and watch him go back to get it. Right there. Look at him. He has to stop and actually go to the ground. Almost a hook slide, reminiscent of the series on that one.
Dokie, 3 receptions for 65 yards, comes wide to the near side. And here's the running attack of Marcus Allen. So the Raiders continue to mix it up. They trail 7-3. Jim Ryan makes the defensive play for Denver.
Excellent play by Ryan. Ryan, by the way, entrusted with calling the adjustments to that Denver defense. They'd had Ricky Hundley doing that earlier, but Hundley was having trouble getting the defenses called and then reacting to that very complex defensive system. It's old hat for Ryan, and he's taken part of that responsibility.
Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. Wilson with pressure, and it will be incomplete. Dokie Williams was the closest would-be receiver. Randy Robbins was applying the pressure.
Blitz was on, and Wilson just flipped it away. Larry Keenan there on the sideline will listen to what Tom Flores wants in the way of a play, and then he'll signal it on in. Sam Bogosian, there's the signal going in. Sam Bogosian, the offensive line coach, on the other side of Flores, and then Collier will wait. The defense waits traditionally until the play goes onto the field, and then he makes his call. I wonder what's in that book, and I asked the question. He said, well, a lot of information that we stockpile on the Raiders. Still have information that goes back 3 or 4 years in that book.
Everything that you would want to know about the Raiders.
And more.
3rd and 11, a flag is dropped. Marcus Allen, the ball carrier. The whistles had been sounded. And it'll be a delay of game against the Raiders. Wilson has completed 13 of 22.
Offense, still 3rd down.
199 yards, no touchdowns, and he has been intercepted twice. So it'll be 3rd down and 16. And now let's go back and check all of the scores. The Giants defeating Dallas by 3. New England over Atlanta, and Cincinnati downing Detroit. All close, good ball games. Cleveland defeating the Colts. Miami over Houston as expected. New Orleans upsets San Francisco. Pittsburgh wins over Green Bay. Tampa Bay wins over Buffalo, and St. Louis by 3 over Philadelphia. Those are the early finals. Here it is Denver 7, Los Angeles 3. 3rd and 16. Tipped, and it is incomplete. Dokie Williams, the intended receiver, and the Broncos let an opportunity for an interception get away.
Broncos with 3 men rushing and everyone else back. Mark Wilson with time found Dokie Williams and threaded the needle on that ball. I don't know whether it was touched there, but they're very lucky that Robbins ran into Louis Wright. Randy Robbins and Louis Wright collided, or that ball would have been intercepted.
Ray Guy with a low snap and pressure, and takes a Raider roll, fielded by Wilhite. And he is dropped after just a few steps on his return. We've got a timeout, and we'll be back in a moment. There's trouble in the West as 2 of the contenders are trailing. The Jets in front of Seattle, San Diego in front of Kansas City, and Minnesota leading Washington by 1. We've talked about the sellout here. Well, there are going to be some changes. This This is a look at the press box now. They have a new press box. There'll be an addition of luxury suites on both sides. Not in the end zone, but sideline to sideline. More than 4,000 seats are going to be added, and the luxury seats are really a great demand for them. They're being well received here in Los Angeles. Elway throws, fires, and it'll be close to the first down. He goes to Vance Johnson, and he's brought down by Lester Hayes, and that is a talking configuration, a confrontation between these two. Let's take a look.
Good arm strength. Lester giving Vance Johnson a lot of room, and you can't do that. Elway has such a powerful arm that you don't have a lot of time to recover. Two of the very best pass rushers in football, both idle today. Howie Long with a hamstring injury, Rulon Jones with a knee problem, and they won't take any risk. You see the ice pack on Rulon's left knee there.
Gain of 11 and a first down at the 39-yard line. Denver leads 7-3. Steve Sewell, the ball carrier, and he goes to the 46-yard line. They're going to give him at 7, and it's going to be second down and 3. Sewell scoring the only touchdown of the ball game, and he did that from 8 yards out. Sam Seal with the tackle. 6.5 minutes left to go in the third.
Charlie, except for that one long pass to Mark Jackson,
53 yards.
53 yards, this Denver Bronco offense has been very silent throughout this game.
Yes, they have. Here's the first down, but a flag is down. Winder pops it inside the 30 before McElroy can bring him down, but there's a marker back at the 44-yard line. 37 yards if.
It looks like it may be against the Raiders. They're moving on down the field.
Los Angeles offsides. Personal foul also against the Raiders. And so the play stands.
The first major foul against Los Angeles, what, in 4 weeks, Charlie?
In 4 games, you're right.
Here comes the play as Winder breaks inside. He gets into the secondary. Very few bodies around as he was apparently a blitz on the inside.
Offside, defense, penalty decline, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 43 defense, accepted, first down.
It's on Sam Seal, and they'll tack it on to the end of the play, so the line of scrimmage becomes the 14-yard line, first down.
You mentioned that Sam Seal playing in there for Mike Haynes. An ankle injury has kept him on the sideline. Seal heading to the sideline is James Davis, number 45, and he said earlier, he said, I feel like I got a bullseye on the front of my uniform. They've been picking on him, but Elway hasn't come after him that much today. Of course, they haven't thrown that many passes.
So the Broncos with an opportunity here, leading 7-3. And they go to Winder. And Sammy goes to the 10-yard line.
Reeves will use some substitution here. That's Gary Kubiak signaling in from the sideline. Let's see if we can see what Sammy Seal did to draw that foul. There's the cut block. Now that's the block that the Raiders have been so irritated about. They said, hey, you're going after our legs, and you saw the shot by Seal after Watson had gone after his legs.
Kind of seemed like the thing to do.
Well, the official didn't feel that way. I'll tell you what bothered me to have him thrown in my legs too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's still a legal block.
Winder and Robinson with the tackle. Perhaps they ought to change the rule on that. Let's go to New York for an update.
Charlie, Al Toon is having an incredible day. Better than 170 yards in reception, 7 catches, 2 of them for touchdowns. Watch this catch in between Terry Taylor and Ken Easley. Ken O'Brien now has thrown for 3 touchdowns, 31-7 Jets.
And so the Jets continue to run free in the Kingdom. Here Denver leading 7-3 and threatening to put 7 more on the board. 3rd down and 5. Sewell has it at the 6, and he goes out of bounds at the 3-yard line. It looks as if he'll pick up the first down. He needed 5, and he got 6, and so it's going to be first down and goal to go. This time they were going after Steele.
Watch Sean Jones, 99, from the right side of your picture, in on Elway. Elway throws as he retreats and still is able to put that ball right on target. And Sewell, dancing down the sideline, is going to be just a couple of yards short of the end zone as they'll put it in play on the 4-yard line.
And it's first down, goal to go, just inside the 4. And here's Sammy Winder. He leans to the 3. It's going to be second down, goal to go. Mike Wise, the rookie, and Cal Davis, who was activated this week, just a couple of days ago, was in on the defensive side.
Well, the war continues between the Denver wide receivers and the defensive backs as Lester says, hey, you're not going to get the best of this one. I got to believe that we're going to have an all-out fight at some point in this game. We're going to see another major penalty against either one of those receivers or perhaps one of the Raider defensive backs.
And illegal, of course, to go against the receiver's head.
Can't go at the head.
Elway fakes the inside dive. And here is Winder. And he pulls his way into the end zone for the touchdown.
And a penalty on the field.
Holding number 93 defense. Penalty decline.
Unusual call. 93 Greg Townsend, a defensive end, called for holding. Elway with a good play-action fake that froze the defense, and then it could not find an open receiver in the end zone. Just flipped it out to Sammy Winder. Sammy found enough room to squeeze into the end zone.
A 72-yard touchdown drive by the Denver Broncos in 7 plays. And the extra point is good, and Denver is now on top by a score of 14-3 with 3:31 left to go in the third.
NFL 86.
The Raiders, coming into this game 2 games back of Denver, they cannot afford to fall 3 back.
They certainly can, and I'm sure concerned there, not necessarily with the score because there's plenty of time left in this game, but with the performance in particular of the Raider offense, the fact that they have squandered so many scoring opportunities early in this game.
Rich Karlis kicking off with Fulton Walker and Stephon Adams. The 2 deep backs on the return. Adams on the near side, Walker on the far side. And it's Walker at the 9 to the 15, 20. And returns near the 30-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown. Will Heighton with a tremendous fake coming airborne.
He's a gymnast, and he really sells this. Look at him diving up over the line, and you've got to respect that kind of fake as you see them taking it right there. And then Elway able to get a little extra time. He looks into the end zone, and I think he wanted Dave Studdard on a tackle eligible. Studdard held up on the play, did not get open, but Winder got the football and did get open.
And the boos are for Mark Wilson, the quarterback of the Raiders. As he comes onto the field, let's see if he can get some offense going. Wilson with good time, and the pass is complete. As Doki Williams picks up about 18 yards on the play. Louis Wright with the tackle, and the game's in progress. The Jets continue to lead comfortably. San Diego continues to shut out Kansas City. The Minnesota-Washington game, Minnesota by 1, all in the third quarter, as we are, with Denver leading Los Angeles 14-3.
The Broncos able to put a drive together, and now the Raiders would like to be able to match that with a drive of their own.
And here's Marcus Allen, and has about 4 yards to the Denver 48. It's going to be second down and 6. The Raiders have been able to generate some offense, but they've self-destructed with 4 turnovers.
Turnovers will kill you, Charlie. It's always been the case, and they have had 4 opportunities, could have had another one, and really have only been able to put those 3 points on the board. But they're already inside of Denver's territory on the 48.5-yard line. See if perhaps they can't get something going here.
And you saw the time remaining in the third quarter on a sun-drenched afternoon in Los Angeles. Pass is complete to Todd Christensen at the 40, so that's a gain of 8 on the first down.
Let's go in and look at number 46, second leading receiver in football coming into this game behind Al Toon. Here he is getting off the ball, gets the bump by Ryan, breaks his timing a little bit, trailed by Mecklenburg on this play, and Dennis Smith, you don't think they respect him? They bump him and they put 2 people on him. He still catches the football and picks up the first down.
First down, Denver 40. Pass over the middle is complete again to Todd Christensen. He goes to the 30. It may be another first down. It's close. Dennis Smith was wrestling him down.
Well, he comes right back, gets in there without the bump this time, and Smith just a little bit slow in reacting to that inside cut. Mark Wilson had the ball there, and the Raiders have 2 quick first downs via the aerial circus to Todd Christensen.
And Christensen has no problem coming over the middle to make a reception.
He's not afraid to stick his nose in there, I'll tell you that.
Here's Marcus Allen to the 25. Excuse me, yes, to the 25.
We mentioned Denver's leading tackler, Ricky Hundley, number 98. In fact, I think he had, 98 tackles, not quite that many coming into this game. There he is, quickly up inside, gets away from Charlie Hanna, number 73. I think the man that was trying to block him does a good job of making the tackle, but a healthy gain in spite of that, as the Raiders have a 2nd and 6 coming up here.
Wilson, a timing pattern in the corner of the complete to Jesse Hester. Mike Harden had the coverage. Good pass.
Excellent touch on that football. And you'll see one of the big differences between Mark Wilson and his opposing quarterback today is the fact that Wilson will hang that football up. The long passes are this kind of passes. Elway tends to zip the ball usually. Wilson's a hanger. He loops that ball. He had that one just barely out of Hester's range.
And there's a look at John Elway.
Not much of a day for John today.
No. Hasn't had the ball a lot. You know, he's performed when he's had it, but hasn't had it a lot.
They are happy about what's on the board, though.
Oh, yeah. Christensen, when you're in trouble at the 16-yard line, you got a first down.
Maybe for those of you who played in the defensive backfield or wanted to be one, you can feel like you're a part of it here as Todd Christensen comes right at you. Mark Wilson again. That's a good throw. Good catch. Hard to control a receiver when he breaks crisply and gets that kind of pass.
Into the 3rd quarter. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Center 4, the Broncos station.
In a matchup that has a lot of interesting numbers, here's still one more. In the 4th quarter this year, the Broncos have outscored their opponents almost 2-1. Not quite, but almost 2-1. The Raiders have been outscored more than 2-1 in the 4th quarter.
Charlie, I'm so glad that statistics don't determine the outcome of the game. It's still going to be decided down there on the floor of the Coliseum. Right now, the Raiders are trying to make sure that they get themselves back into it.
And they have a first down at the Denver 16. Here's Marcus Allen. 4 yards to the 12, 2nd down and 6. Tony Lilly with the tackle.
We gave you an opportunity to put on your helmet, your shoulder pads, and play in the defensive backfield. Now you can be a defensive end. Simon Fletcher, number 73, doing a good job of getting off the block and getting outside. Tony Lilly, 22, up from his position in the backfield. Between the two of them, they were able to corral Marcus Allen, but he's still got about 4 yards on the play.
2nd down and 6 at the 12-yard line. Denver leads 14-3. Showing motion. Oh, incomplete. Yoki Williams, the intended receiver, just a little behind him. Louis Wright was there. It'll be 3rd down.
Quarterback looking at that play, knowing that Doki is headed into an area where there are other defensive backs, tried to zip it into him, put it slightly behind him. Had he put that ball in front of Doki, we'd have had a touchdown there for the Raiders. put it behind him. Doki bounced it up. They're lucky it wasn't intercepted.
Injury report on Rulon Jones on that left knee. He will not return to the ballgame. And here's Marcus Allen. Third down and 6.
Raiders electing to do what the Broncos did earlier in a passing situation, ran the football.
I'm surprised.
But the Broncos, their play worked as they were able to send Sewell into the scoring area for a touchdown, but that one did not work.
Now do you go for it?
I think maybe the Raiders will. They certainly haven't sent Chris Barr onto the field. And here that the election has already been made, Tom Flores is saying, hey, we don't need 3, we need 7.
Fourth down and 2 with 13 and a half minutes to go. That's a lot of time.
Raiders saying, quiet down. Hey, come on, quiet down.
And they're going to charge Denver with a timeout. And that is their first. They have 2 remaining. We'll be back in a moment.
Today's game is brought to you by Mercury, the shape you want to be in. By Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
This is Charlie Jones, Merlin Olsen, the Denver Broncos, and the Los Angeles Raiders. Denver on top by 11. The Raiders 4th down and 2 at the Denver 8-yard line. And they're going for it. You go with Marcus Allen.
Well, I think you go to your money man here. Let's see if Tom Flores agrees. Looks like an audible from Mark Wilson. I believe they got it, Charlie.
They did
I believe it was second effort. I think it was Hawkins carrying the football. Frank Hawkins in behind Marcus. I guess they were saying, hey, they expect Marcus to have this ball. Let's cross him up. Frank Hawkins actually has a better per rush average than Marcus Allen. Number 27, and it's Marcus doing the blocking. A change of roles here. There's Marcus on Mecklenburg, 77, and Hawkins, look at that extra effort, that leg drive. No question about it. He picked it up.
First down, goal to go, 5-yard line. Whoa. And Marcus this time over the right side, and it'll be second down, goal to go from the 3. Simon Fletcher was there to make the stop, along with Jim Ryan.
Now mark it comfortably inside the 5, just inside the 4-yard line. Be a second down and goal. The gamble paid off for the Broncos, at least to this point. Now they need to get the 7 points, put them on the board. Interesting choice this early in the game to go on a situation like that where you have a long fourth and a yard and a half, almost 2 yards.
And Steve Strahan is in, and he shows motion. This is a setup for a screen and the sack. The third for the Broncos. And a big loss of 16 yards. Tony Lilly got it.
Marcus all alone in the end zone. They thought they could freeze the defense with the play action, but Denver wasn't having any part of it. They're coming on an all-out blitz. And there's Ryan, number 50, coming from the outside. 22, Tony Lilly, coming from the inside, a linebacker and a defensive back, and Mark Wilson did not have a chance.
And for Tony Lilly, his first sack, and there's a look at the sack ratio.
It's been a problem all year for the Raiders.
Third down, goal to go. With pressure, a flag is down. The pass is to Doki Williams, and they may be ruling in the grasp plus the flag.
Well, I think we'll have a holding call plus a grasp and control call, but let's give the officials a chance to sort it out.
And remember, that was third down.
There's a man who would like a chance, Jimmy Plunkett.
Holding against the Raiders. So remember, a moment ago, they were just inside the 4.
Holding, number 65 offense. Penalty will be declined. 4th down.
Declining the call because they want to take the down away from the Raiders. They'll force them here to go for the field goal.
coming into today's game. And for Denver, that is their 4th sack. And now for the last 6 games, they have had 5 sacks, which is an NFL record. 5 sacks a game. They're only 1 away from stretching that to the 7th game.
Doing it without their best sacker on the field. Rulon Jones on the sideline with a bad knee.
And a 42-yard field goal attempt by Chris Barr.
Blocked.
It is blocked. And picked up by Dennis Smith.
Capacity crowd sensing that their Raiders had a chance to put points on the board, not only see them denied the touchdown, but now with a low kick, they're denied an opportunity for 3 points.
Number 73, Simon Fletcher, is going to receive credit for reaching up and slapping the attempt down.
I believe that was a low kick.
Yeah.
Fletcher up in the air well, but that ball usually would be above his hands if Chris gets a good shot on it. And Charlie, they're back to the action here as the Raiders have been shut down so many times in the Broncos territory by a Bronco defense that has had 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, all in their own territory, and now a blocked kick after a big sack that took the Raiders out of apparent field goal range.
And the Raiders had the ball for 7 minutes and 22 seconds. Sammy Winder on the first carry for Denver from the 29 to the 32. It's 2nd down and 7. John Elway thus far has completed 9 of 10 for 127 yards and a touchdown. He hadn't had a lot of opportunity, but 9 of 10, not too shabby an afternoon. And here is Winder again, as he has 3 to the 35. It's going to be 3rd down and 4. Greg Townsend makes the tackle. Let's check the games in progress. In the National Football League this afternoon, the Jets continue to waltz away from Seattle. San Diego leading Kansas City now 16-7. The Chiefs finally got on the scoreboard. Minnesota beginning to pull away from Washington, so Minnesota truly is a playoff team. And here the score is Denver 14, the Los Angeles Raiders 3. Now with 9:50 and counting, that is the time remaining in the ball game at the Coliseum.
And I'll tell you, Dan Reeves right now on the sideline is saying, let's just run that football, control the clock, and take the time away from, and Denver Broncos call a timeout.
That's
Some
their second.
confusion as Elway pulled away from the center, either some misunderstandings on the offensive side or a defense he didn't like, one or the other.
So we'll take a timeout. The score is Denver 14, Los Angeles 3. The 2 head coaches and their timeouts remaining.
Broncos have wasted a couple of timeouts in this half. That could come back to haunt them.
Denver 3rd down and 4 at their own 35. And Elway slips away and heads for the sideline.
Penalty flags were already on the ground. I think we had an offsides on the Raiders. But, Charlie, here's something we alluded to earlier in the game. The fact that these 2 teams have not split a season series since 1977. And, of course, if you believe in history, you'd have said coming in the Broncos have it going for them. And yet the Raiders coming in off a 5-game winning streak. They really appeared to have their offensive situation together. They've been playing good defense all year. But their offense has certainly self-destructed many, many times today against a good Denver defense, and I think we need to give them some credit in that situation.
The penalty against the Raiders, so it'll be a 1st down for Denver. On the draw, Winder for a yard to the 41-yard line. 2nd down and 9. Today's telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited.
Denver Bronco apparently injured on that last play as the trainers head out onto the field. Dave Studdard, I believe, number 70 is the man on the ground. Yes, it is Studdard. And with injury problems already plaguing them, Keith Bishop hurt. That could be a severe blow.
We have a timeout, and we'll be back in a moment.
Charlie, it's amazing we don't have more of this kind of injury. Watch Studdard being driven to the inside, number 70, and then watch him as Billy Bryant, the center, throws Piquel right there. Stop it. And you can see it as Piquel falls across the ankle and the knee, and they've got him on the sideline checking it out. That means Dan Remsburg has gone into the game in his place, and that's two subs in there with Bishop, the whole left side of that line out now. Bishop and Studdard both out.
2nd and 9. Gerald Wilhite across the 45 to the 46-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 4. Let's check the complete scoreboard. The Giants win by 3 over Dallas. The Giants are going to be in first place in the East because Washington is losing right now. New England wins over Atlanta. That's a good one for New England. Cleveland over Indianapolis. Miami over Houston. That was expected. The upset, New Orleans over San Francisco, 23-10. Pittsburgh wins. Tampa Bay wins. And St. Louis wins. St. Louis has been struggling, but they beat Philadelphia. Jets way out in front of Seattle. San Diego continues to lead Kansas City, and Minnesota over Washington. And here it is Denver out in front by 11, 14-3. Elway on the run, and the pass is complete for the first down. And a good scramble he throws to Vance Johnson. Stephon Adams makes the tackle. That's really kind of the first true scrambling ability of Elway that we've seen today.
Charlie, reading my mind exactly, Elway has been content to play a relatively conservative game today, and of course they don't want him to scramble unless he has to. He has to here. They are all over him. Townsend 93, 57 Robinson. He threw that on the dead run. Oh, I tell you, that is tough. Good catch by Vance Johnson, but if you want to do something difficult, try throwing at a moving target when you're running full speed toward the sideline.
And 3 people are chasing you.
Yeah, that's right. And it's not as if it's just run toward the sideline.
A gain of 12, first down at the Raiders' 42-yard line. Billy Hackett showing a little motion, and Winder gets the call. Gain of 4 to the 37, 2nd and 6. Rod Martin makes the tackle. Football trivia. What team holds the NFL record for the fewest yards passing in a game?
I'll let you think about that.
Is it regular
for a second.
season, or is it regular season and postseason?
Charlie, don't ask these tough questions. It's an NFL record,
An NFL
Charlie.
record. Well, then it'd be regular season. Otherwise, it'd be listed as a postseason record. Well, I remember the one playoff game that Bob Greasy only had like 6 completions or something. I didn't know if that applied or not. 2nd and 6. Winder is dumped. He's going to lose a couple of yards on the play. Bill Piquel was there to wrap him up. It's going to be 3rd down and about 8.
Excellent play by Piquel as he slanted off the nose, drove into the backfield. Piquel, you see that tape strapped over the nose, that helmet drove down over and split his nose wide open. One of the common injuries for the big men down on the line who so often have that helmet slammed down onto their heads and tipped forward.
3rd down. Elway now with 10 straight completions. Flag is down. The pass far side is complete. As Steve Sewell, no, he's out of bounds, but there was a marker on the play also.
There's an offsides on the Raiders that will keep them alive in this situation. The right tackle defensively jumped. He was able to stop himself, but his head was over the ball.
Offsides Los Angeles.
Let's look at the end of that last play. A rather artistic move by Sewell, trying to get his feet down inbounds. 1 foot in, 2nd foot out. Good call by the official who's right there on the sideline. 2nd foot on the line.
Defense, still 3rd down.
Mike Wise ticketed on that particular play, activated this last week. I think in anticipation for the problem that Howie Long would not be able to play. That's not the kind of thing you want to have your name mentioned for, though, Charlie.
I was in the replay booth talking with the replay official, Jack Reeder, and Al Ward, who's the communicator. And I said, are you going to have a busy afternoon? They said, we hope not. We hope not.
No, they certainly don't. They don't want to have to make those calls.
And so far they have. So far they have.
Big play here.
Here's Winder. And may come up. Yes, he'll be short.
Good play by the Raider defense. Winder running in behind the left side of that line, and got to remind folks that that's Winfred Hood and Dan Remsburg over there instead of Studdard and Bishop. See the snap, a little toss back to Winder. Good lead block in there. Good play inside out. Reggie McKenzie, number 54, a man who really put the shot on him there to finish him off.
We're moving on the 5-minute mark. Time remaining. Broncos are leading 14-3. It is 4th down and 1, and they're going to go for it.
Interesting call. Of course, you don't gain much here with a punt, and it's a long field goal for Carlos.
It would be a 50-yard field goal attempt. And the flag goes down. We have to delay a game.
We have a penalty, I think, against Denver. At any rate, this might change. Yes, it does. Will change their thinking as they will now go to a punt.
And be sure to join us next Sunday for exciting NFL action. Your day kicks off with NFL 86.
Still 4th down.
At 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Bob Costas, your host, and then it's a shootout in Texas as the Raiders will be battling the Cowboys, and the AFC Western Division leading Denver Broncos will be hosting the San Diego Chargers. Be sure to check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Your team plays here on NBC Sports.
Looking ahead, Danny White, broken wrist today for Dallas. Chance for Steve Pallor to go back into that lineup, maybe even Reggie Collier.
Chris Norman kicking to Fulton Walker.
It's been an adventure. They're after him again. Oh!
And it goes into the end zone for the touchback. So the Raiders will bring it out to their own 20-yard line. They'll have the ball 1st down.
Norman not happy. Let's go back and lay that answer for our trivia question on you. The question again, what team holds the NFL record for fewest yards passing in a game? Of course, the two teams involved, these two teams, the Raiders and the Broncos, and it was the Denver Broncos in 1967. Steve Tensey, the quarterback who started that game, a minus 53 yards against the then Oakland Raiders.
How could you have a minus 53 yards passing?
Well, you take away all the yardage on the sacks, Charlie, and you don't complete many passes.
Yes, you don't. I like you don't complete many passes at all. Denver, by the way, had the ball almost 6.5 minutes. They ran that much time off of the clock. We've got just over 4.5 to go. Wilson throws far side incomplete. Good defensive play as Dennis Smith was there. Hester, the intended receiver. It'll be 2nd down.
Dennis Smith there to put that hand. Timing is so important for those defensive backs. As he arrives, if he hits that receiver before the ball arrives, he'll be ticketed for a foul. Jesse Hester trying to get squared away, catch that ball. Smith just timing it perfectly, put a hand on the football and wasn't called. Charlie, just to tack on, the 4th quarter last week, the Seattle Seahawks were minus 21 yards when they finally took Craig out of the game. So that is unusual, but not that unusual.
Wilson's pass is almost intercepted. Marcus Allen, the intended receiver, and Randy Robbins almost took it over his shoulder as if he was the receiver. It'll be 3rd down, back at the 20.
Crowd getting restless here as the Raiders seemingly just can't put it together today. See the long shadows, the late evening sun coming in over the edge of the Coliseum can get to be a real factor here today, and perhaps that's what trapped Marcus on that last play. 3rd and 10.
And Wilson has completed 17 of 31, 244 yards. He's been intercepted twice. And the Raiders have a lone field goal. They're behind 14-3. There's pressure. He steps away, buys some time, throws, tight end, Todd Christensen. And Christensen goes out of bounds to the Denver 45-yard line. 35 yards on the play. And it was a 3rd down and 10.
A do-or-die kind of play, and Mark Wilson has had trouble avoiding the rush on occasions today. He does a fine job here. They've got the heat on him coming from the inside. That's Simon Fletcher, 73 there, gets away from him and finds the open receiver, Todd Christensen. Christensen running for the sideline, not only picks up the 1st down, but also gets that clock stopped.
Todd Christensen, that is his 8th reception, 109 yards. And last week he had 7 for 82, but 3 touchdowns in that ball game. No touchdowns for the Raiders thus far.
All the way down the field.
Hester completes the ball. Dennis Smith with the coverage.
Wilson, number 40.
Was it Wilson?
45, I think, Charlie. We've got two players, one defensive back on each team that started his career as a wide receiver and ended up a defensive back. Steve Wilson is one, Sammy Seals the other for the Raiders. And the reason they were selected was speed, pure and simple. Able to match speed with the receiver. And you saw Wilson stride for stride with Jesse Hester, 84. That ball well thrown by the quarterback.
And Hester replaced by another speedster, Rod Barksdale. And we have 4:06 left to go. Wilson has pressure. Christensen has it. And a dying quail as Mark Wilson was going down, and they pick up 21 yards and a first down, and the Raiders rally.
Raiders already in a hurry-up offense because one touchdown doesn't do it for them. They know they got to get a couple of scores on the board. Mark Wilson gets them right to the line. Let's see what he has in mind.
First down at the Denver 23. Wilson again, this time to the 20-yard line. It is Marcus Allen, brought down by Randy Robbins. A gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
Andre Townsend had a hold of him as he threw that football. Did a good job of getting it off.
And as we check the games in progress, the Raiders call a timeout. The Jets in front. Kansas City climbing back at San Diego. And Minnesota continues to lead Washington. So some interesting happenings outside of the Coliseum, but here in the Coliseum, let's check the games remaining.
Well, if you're a schedule watcher, you know that the Broncos really have a tough row to hoe in the last part of this season. The Raiders hoping they could win today and then would hope for a little help along the way from some very tough teams, in particular on the road against the Giants, on the road against Kansas City. They got to go to Seattle, 3 big divisional games. And of course the Raiders themselves don't have a piece of cake as they head to Dallas this next week, Cleveland, San Diego, but an easier schedule than the one facing the Broncos.
Now we'll take a look at the standings and then the conference standings, but also remember what else is going on today. Now remember the Raiders, Kansas City and Seattle tied at 5-3 records behind Denver. At this point, the Raiders, Kansas City and Seattle are all losing. So Denver can have, if they continue to win, they can have a lot of breathing room.
Well, you see there that the difference in the conference and divisional races is not significant if the Raiders were to win today. However, you put another loss in that side of the column for the Raiders, and you've given the Broncos a very tough edge to overcome in the second half of these seasons.
The ball at the 20-yard line of Denver, 2nd down and 7, 3:32 the time remaining. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Hester. Was behind him, which really made the play work.
It was the only way it could have worked. Those are sometimes fortunate things that happen for you. It's man-to-man coverage. Steve Wilson, 45, is playing the man all the way. Now watch it. As Hester can see the ball, Wilson lost track of his man momentarily. Hester just slipped around him and took the football away from him.
80-yard drive, 7 plays, only a minute 10. Here's the extra point attempt. This is to pull within 4.
Oh, boy, that's making it ugly there. Again, a low kick.
The excitement is back in the kicking game, isn't it?
Barr has kicked his way out of a problem earlier in the year. Let's take a peek and see if that ball too was kicked low. Oh, first we're going to look at the touchdown throw. Good job of protecting Mark Wilson. And Wilson gets it down into the end zone, doing exactly what they had to do in this situation, which is get themselves a touchdown.
And that is Hester's first reception in the ball game. That's his 4th touchdown of the year. And there's the time remaining, 3:26. Is it too early for an onside kick?
Well,
I think it is.
Steve, I think it is too. Steve Ortmeyer is probably discussing that down on the sideline with Tom Flores. Here's the extra point. Let's go back and take a peek. Mark Wilson holds, by the way, on the extra point. See if we can see what happened. No problems there, but you see Chris Barr shaking his head. I think maybe an indication that he didn't get that ball up where it should have been. Let's see if we can see it from this angle. That ball is low, and it's Simon Fletcher again, the man who blocked one earlier, got his fingers on that one. And on an extra point, you've got to get that ball up, get it over their heads.
Fletcher at 6'5", 240, got a piece of it. The Broncos have their hands team on in case there is an onside kick.
Well, and an opportunity if the Raiders want to kick the ball deep, knowing that it's going to be difficult to return the ball with this many men up.
If it is an onside kick, it must go 10 yards before the kicking team can touch it. How do they kick it away? Kind of a squib type kick. They're just trying to drop it in behind the line. Gene Lang picks it up and heads for the sideline. Wilhite was the deep back on the return, so it was like an almost, I'll drop it over the front line, see if somebody can run under it.
I think that's a very cleverly designed onside kick. Yes. One that's designed to spin, and he got a lot of spin on that ball, but was well handled by the Broncos. Charlie, timeouts could be a factor this game. The Bronco has one, and the Raiders have given up one, so they only have two. So right now, pressure squarely on the Raider defense. They have got to take the football away from the Broncos to give their offense another opportunity.
And the fans are now back into the ballgame. Denver leads by 4. And Winder cut down at the line of scrimmage. No, it's Wilhite cut down by Bill Packel.
Packel, following that play inside out from his nose tackle position, did an excellent job of making that tackle.
Second down and 9. They'll mark it for 1 to the 22. And of course, Denver will use all the time they can. 2:51 and counting. Play action fake. Elway fires to the sideline.
I think it's a good reception.
Yes.
He's going to be a little short of the first down. He's going to bring up a very, very big third down play for the Denver Broncos.
Vance Johnson with the reception. Here's the quarterback comparison.
You look at that, it's hard to believe that Elway has that kind of numbers because he does not seem to have been that big a factor in the game today.
Third down and 2 at the 29-yard line.
The big difference there between the two quarterbacks, those two interceptions behind Mark Wilson's name, both down deep in Denver territory.
Play action fake. Here's the scramble of Elway. He's got to get on his horse. And he dives for it. Let's see where they mark him out.
I think he's going to be short. He is short of it, Charlie. Elway using his speed to get away from Stacy Turan, who runs pretty well in his own right. But watch Turan go right through the blocker and come after Elway. Now it's a foot race to the sideline. Inside out, that's Matt Millen, number 55, who got over there to make that saving tackle on the sideline. And now, tremendous pressure on Chris Norman. They've come after him every punt today. They came very close on 2 occasions to blocking the punt. They're going to come after him again. They're still on the sideline. I guess they're reviewing the play, perhaps asking where he was out of bounds. First opportunity for the replay officials to get involved in this game. They'll look to the sideline and mark it again.
There's the time remaining, 2:21.
Maybe we can go back and look at the last part of that play where Elway goes out of bounds. Here it is for you at home to take a peek. Millen coming inside out, and it looks like he's, well, almost dead between the two lines, and they have marked it forward of that.
He needed to get to the 31. He did not get to the 31.
No, he didn't get to the 31, but back there you see the ball.
That's as good a spot as any. That's the 29. You know. Well, it's in the neighborhood.
Relatively immaterial. I think Reeves will play it conservatively at this point anyway. and kick the ball, even if he's close to a first down. He wants to put as much green between Mark Wilson and his offense in the end zone as he possibly can.
That is the umpire, Rex Stewart, who has the headset on. He's in communications with Al Ward, who is the communicator, and Jack Reeder, the replay official. And I'm sure that that's the point, Mervyn. It just have to be.
Well, I think it's absolutely. I think it's the mark of the ball.
Yeah, and there's Al Ward on the phone.
There's the replay booth.
See those monitors? Now, those are 8-inch monitors. I like the bigger monitors, as you know. I like to be able to
Charlie likes
it. I like a huge one.
I'm sure they're looking at the mark. I don't know what else it could be at that point. And
here's something else I'm not sure that everybody knows, but all of the replay officials, like regular officials, they review tapes and game film. And the tape this week, they said it was 43 minutes long of all the other plays that they reviewed and the calls and what was right and what was wrong and where corrections should be made. Well, we have a little delay here.
Well, maybe they were having trouble with their communication, so they've gone to the phone on the sideline. Give them a direct tap into the line with the replay booth.
The 3 plays, by the way, ran off 59 seconds on the clock. Chance to thank our spotters, Seth Goldberg and Chuck Panama. Also helping in the booth, Stan Otake and Doug Mann. Joe Costanza, of course, on top of our continuing numbers game as the official.
Well, the mystery is over, Charlie.
Yes, and now we will all know. Tell us, Jerry.
Because the official covering the play was dazed, the forward progress was in question. After further review by the instant replay official, the play will stand. The ball is where it is, fourth down.
Notice that line, the official was dazed. I mean, they get bumps and bruises, too.
I'll tell you, Charlie, I played in a lot of games where I was sure that the officials were dazed.
Well, that's a tough statement to make. You know, that'll come back to haunt them, won't it?
Well, I think the call is a good one from our replays.
Yes.
It was obvious that Elway did not have the yardage for the first down. An opportunity, by the way, for the Raiders to discuss their strategy and get themselves ready. They're going to get the football. Now it's just a question of where.
Now, do you play return here, or do you go for the block?
I think you go for the block.
I'd be tempted to play return. And let's see what they do.
He has not kicked it well under pressure today, Charlie. Yeah, they're going for the return.
They play return, and he has a good kick.
And he booms it.
But the wind does hold it up. Fair catch is taken at the 35-yard line. So the Raiders really got a long way to go. They've got the 36-yard punt. They've got to go for the touchdown. A field goal will not help them. However, 2 field goals would. How much time do we have? 2:13. There's a lot of time left. The Jets continue to lead Seattle. San Diego by 2. And Minnesota leading Washington by 5. And here the Raiders are down by 4. There's the time remaining, 2:13.
No question
This
about
crowd
the
is stayed, you know.
The offense is hurry-up offense right from the beginning. They'll probably have 2 or 3 plays called, Charlie.
Wilson.
Oh! Randy Robbins.
Ooh, yeah.
That's the way to end it all right there. If he catches that football, it's 7 points for the Broncos, not for the Raiders. Well read, inside out. That ball, again, that's an area in which Mark Wilson has a little problem. Does not have the velocity on the ball of a John Elway. Of course, who does? But in that situation, there was time after the ball was thrown for the defensive back to recover and get a hand on it.
Going to Marcus Allen. It is now 2nd and 10. Raiders ball, their own 36. They have 2 timeouts remaining and 2:08 left. 4-man rush by Denver. Flag is down. The pass is complete to Marcus Allen. The clock is stopped with the marker at 2:01.
I think we'll probably have a holding call against the Raiders offense, and this will be a choice for Denver. Do they want to take the down or the 10 yards? Reeves is saying, well, Joe Collier is saying take him back. He wants the yardage.
He doesn't care about the number of downs. He wants to make it
Henry
as much
Lawrence.
real estate as possible.
Henry Lawrence over there arguing with the official. I believe he's the man they're going to call.
Holding number 70 offense, still 2nd down.
Take it back to the 26. 2nd and 20.
Well, with 2 minutes on the clock now, and we've got a 2-minute warning, I believe.
Yes. And the 2-minute warning to both benches. The score, Denver 14, Raiders 10. We'll be back. This is Charlie Jones, Merlin Olsen. 2 minutes left in the Coliseum. Denver 14 and the Raiders 10. Second down and 20 for Los Angeles.
The officials huddling up to make sure they're all on the same page for this critical 2-minute period. Raiders in their own huddle, and I'm sure if I were in that huddle, I'd be wanting to know who are the guys that got us to a point where we're in this game at this point. And Todd Christensen with 9 catches, 131, I think it'd be the guy I'd be looking for.
Oh, yes.
Marcus, although he's healthy, has not had a great day. And I think, again, that ankle is bothering his performance still somewhat. There's the man that calls the plays. We can only speculate as to what he has sent out onto the field. And, of course, right now, the biggest problem they have is picking up the first down because it's 2nd and 20.
Marcus Allen rushed 21 times for 68 yards, receiving 3 for 13. So a total of 81 yards for Marcus Allen. Last time they played, his total was 204 rushing and receiving.
And they still lost.
That's right, lost by 2. Now they trail by 4. In the coverage, it is intercepted. Mike Harden with his 2nd interception of the game. And a flag is down, a fight breaking out at the 15-yard line.
Simon Fletcher and Charlie Hanna going at it on the sideline, but I think it's after the fact.
Mike Harden with the interception of the touchdown. 40 yards on the return.
Well, we almost saw Randy Robbins pick it up and take it in. They dodged that one, but they didn't dodge this one. Ball over the head of number 32, Marcus Allen, as he hooks up right there. Mike Harden just steps up and takes it.
Personal foul, offsetting dead ball fouls on number 73 on each team. After the touchdown was scored, the touchdown is good. We'll kick off the 35.
The touchdown stands, and for Mike Harden, that is his 3rd touchdown this year and his 4th interception.
Those are big numbers, and of course the biggest numbers right now are on the scoreboard as they line up for a shot at an extra point. It'll be 21-10 if they can convert on the extra point and virtually shut the door at this point in the season on the Raiders, who are going to have a desperately difficult time unless they can get some help to come back and catch up with the Denver Broncos.
And if the other scores stand, then Denver is going to have a 3-game lead in the West on everybody.
Ooh. We continue to see an adventure with a kicking game.
Yes,
Kicked it off the inside. Had a problem with the hold.
Today's Budweiser most valuable player, you just saw him in action, number 31, Mike Harden, 2 interceptions. The last one shut the door on the Raiders. He returned it 40 yards for the touchdown. And Budweiser will be making a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all of the MVPs selected this season in the National Football League. So congratulations to Mike Harden and the entire Denver defense.
There's some sad, long faces on the Raiders side of the line, but it's really the turnovers on the day that have been the killers. Plenty of opportunities for the Raiders. 3 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries have taken away the opportunities for them to score. They simply couldn't recover from that today.
Plus the blocked field goal attempt by
The blocked field goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
By Simon Fletcher. Rich Carlos kicking off with Fulton Walker and Stephon Adams. And this is a short squib-type kick to take away any kind of a major return. And that was Matt Millen. And Los Angeles will go to work as we check all of the scores. The Giants defeating Dallas. New England wins in Cincinnati. Cleveland, Miami, and New Orleans with the upset over the 49ers. Pittsburgh over Green Bay. They continue to struggle. Tampa Bay over Buffalo. St. Louis by 3 over Philadelphia. The Jets, that is now official. And in the 4th quarter, look at this, though. Kansas City in front of San Diego. And Minnesota out in front. And Kansas City right now is going to be the team chasing the Denver Broncos. Marcus Allen. 1 minute and 32 seconds. That is the time remaining here. And a note to those viewers who have just joined us to watch Our House. Please stay tuned. Our House will be seen in its entirety immediately following football, except for Mountain and Pacific time zone. And the program will be seen at its regular time. Jesse Hester on the receiving end at the 40-yard line of Denver.
Denver right now exchanging yardage for time, knowing that they've got the certain advantage of both at this moment.
Now the officials have stopped the clock. Now the chains haven't moved yet. And now he winds the clock and the chain crew has to catch up on the sideline. Wilson overthrowing Marcus on a sideline pattern. So that stops the clock at 1:02.
I think just wanting to stop the clock, as Marcus was well covered by Steve Wilson on that play. With 1:02, you've really got to get down into that end zone and then hope that you can get an onside kick. You know, going down for one touchdown is cosmetic. It's not going to help you.
Wilson has completed 23 of 40. He's thrown for 340 yards and one touchdown. But he's been intercepted 3 times, one of which was returned for a score. 2nd and 10. Now he goes deep into the far corner. And an interception is saved. Mike Harden went up for the interception. And Tim Moffitt is the offender who defended on the play. And so it is incomplete and it'll be 3rd down. And there is the owner of the Denver Broncos.
Much happier now than he was at the half, Pat Boland.
And we join Pat and our executive producer of NBC Sports, Michael Weissman, the coordinating producer of NBC Football, and today's director is Ted Nathanson. The coordinating producer of NFL 86 is John Filippelli. Today's telecast has been produced by George Finkel. NFL 86 produced by Tom Roy. NFL 86 directed by Bucky Gunts. Our technical directors Ray Figelski and Sal Nagita. And Todd Christensen pulls in still another one. And he picks up 16, will run his totals. 10 for 147.
A big day for Mark Wilson, but Charlie, the only numbers that are really important are the numbers on the scoreboard, which tell you one thing, and that is that the Raiders have fallen 3 games back in the divisional race.
And the Denver Broncos out in front 21-10. And Seattle losing today, they fall 3 games back also in the divisional race. Kansas City can stay within a couple.
Dan Rees, all during this week, has talked about the difficulty of his team to get that crispness that they had earlier in the year. He said we're struggling a little bit, and they struggle here today, but the Raiders struggled even more.
Yes.
Let's credit the Bronco defense for forcing turnovers today. Really, that was the difference in the game, and that man in the orange hat behind the nice people who have made this broadcast possible is a man that will take several bows, I'm sure, when he gets back to Denver, and deservedly so.
Well, the Bronco defense, no question, they won the ball game. And, as the Bronco offense kind of just sputtered around in the first half and couldn't get anything going, the defense kept them in the game.
Well, a good defense, and we talk always about what does it take to get you into a championship, to keep you in a game, and it's a defense, Charlie. On the days when you sputter, you've got to play good defense, and that's what they did today. They sputtered on offense, they stayed close because of the defense, and they came back, put enough on the board to win.
Wilson throwing to Christensen and just misses him at the goal line. We've got 40 seconds left to go here. And a reminder of next Sunday, exciting NFL action. Your day kicks off with NFL 86 at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time with your host, Bob Costas. A shootout in Texas, the Raiders battling the Cowboys. And possibly the AFC Western Division leading Denver Broncos that we watched today. They'll be hosting the San Diego Chargers under their new head coach, Al Saunders. So be sure to check your local listings for the game and time in your area as your team plays here on NBC Sports. 2nd down and 10 at the 24-yard line. Little pump fake and going deep into the corner, and it is incomplete. Louis Wright with the coverage, and Dokie Williams, the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd down.
Charlie, I'm sure that when the Los Angeles Raiders sit down to review their films and have a chance to look at the way they've squandered their opportunities, they're going to be a very sad team, because this certainly was a game that was well within their grasp. Yes. In fact, a game that they will, I'm sure, look back and say we should have won the game, much as they did in the opening game. They came back from Denver, a game they lost 38-36, saying we should have won that game. But it's not the we should haves and we could haves that put you in the playoffs at the end of the year. It's the we did.
And the sweep will continue for 9 years either the Raiders or the Broncos against each other have won both ball games. They haven't split.
Strange.
That is strange, isn't it? That one really is. Christensen inside the 15.
But I think we broke one of those streaks because Denver was ahead at the half, and they will win this game. So that 6-game streak is gone, and there's another interception.
Another interception.
That one doesn't do much.
Is that Rick Dennison?
55 Dennison, the man who picks it up. A batted ball again. Just a matter of letting the clock tick off now as Elway and his offense will come on the field and take a few high fives. Well, you take them. Ugly. It's beautiful. It's a win.
4 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, 2 fumble recoveries, a blocked field goal attempt, and the story today is written defense.
In the last 2 games before today, the Broncos have been a -5. They had not taken the ball away from their opponent. They turned it over 5 times. Here today, they've exactly reversed that stat as they're a +5 in the turnover ratio.
Dan Reeves, the winningest coach in the history of the Broncos. And Denver stays comfortably in front in the West. The clock with its final countdown. And the score, the Denver Broncos 21, the Los Angeles Raiders 10. And Tom Flores now with a record of 5-4 as for the Raiders. And the Broncos record is a very comfortable 8-1 as they start the second half of the season on a high note.
Charlie, the first half of the season is for positioning. You close out those championships in the second half. And the Denver Broncos have done a great job to put themselves at a healthy advantage as they start into the second half of the season. And they've put some giant roadblocks in the way of the Raiders, who now must not only recover and play great football the last half of the season, but have to hope that they get a lot of help. They've got to see some people really knock the heck out of Denver to help them out, or they have no chance of getting back into the championship race.
They have four losses in the loss column. They still have a shot at a wild card.
They do, but they have some tough games to play. Both of these teams have tough schedules to play out, Charlie, and I think playing the AFC West and the NFC East, well, that's almost an impossible road.
And now stay tuned for Our House, except on the West Coast.